In this video, we are going to look at the mountains of Peninsular India. There are a lot of people who get confused between Deccan Plateau and Peninsular Plateau. I'll clear the confusion first. The Peninsular Plateau is this entire landmass which is called India today. Originally, it was part of the ancient continent of Gondwana. And you know the story how the Indian plate broke away and started drifting towards north when it finally merged with the Eurasian plate. And the consequences of that plate movement, as we know, is the formation of the Himalayan mountains. So plateau is basically a highland with a flat terrain of land. If you exclude the Himalayan mountains, everything before that is part of the Peninsular Plateau. This entire region. Now within this Peninsular Plateau, the southern portion, which is roughly from this region to the southern tip of India, is called the Deccan Plateau. The Peninsular Plateau is divided into two parts, the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. I've shown you where the Deccan Plateau is, and the rest of it is the Central Highlands. In this video, we're going to look at the main mountains of Peninsular India. First, we'll look at the Aravalli Range. These mountain ranges run towards the southwest direction, starting in North India from Delhi and passing through southern Haryana, through the western India across the states of Rajasthan and ending in Palanpur in Gujarat. The Aravalli Range are the oldest fold mountains in India. Guru Shikhar near Mount Abu, Rajasthan is the highest peak of Aravalli Range with an elevation of 1772 meters above sea level. Now we will look at the Vindhya and Satpura ranges. They form the northern border of South India or the Deccan Plateau. Satpura range rises in eastern Gujarat, running east through the northern border of Maharashtra and southern region of Madhya Pradesh till Chhattisgarh. In Chhattisgarh, you will find another set of hills called the Maikal Hills, which are also called the eastern part of Satpura range. But the land elevation is from east to west direction. That is the reason Narmada and Tapi river flow to the west and drains into the Arabian Sea. Mount Dhupgarh is the highest point in the Satpura range and it is in Madhya Pradesh, located in a place called Panchmarhi. It has an elevation of 1350 meters. It is the highest point of Madhya Pradesh. If you look at the Vindhya ranges, it also originates near the eastern border of Gujarat and then it runs along the state border of South Rajasthan, North Madhya Pradesh, South Uttar Pradesh, North Chhattisgarh and South Bihar. Even here the land elevation is from east to west direction. Now that you know the location of Vindhya and Satpura ranges, you can easily imagine that the cities of Bhopal and Indore lie on the plain area in between of Satpura and Vindhya range. Kalumar Peak is the highest peak of Vindhya range, located in the Damoh district of Madhya Pradesh. It has an elevation of 752 meters above sea level. As I have said, Narmada and Tapi or Tapti are the two rivers that flow in the Arabian Sea. Narmada river flows in between Satpura and Vindhya range, whereas the river Tapi flows south of the Satpura range near to the northern part of Maharashtra. If you go to the western coast, you will find a long chain of continuous mountains called the Western Ghats. They run parallel to the Arabian Sea and stretches across the western coastal states of South Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. In the states of Maharashtra and Karnataka, Western Ghats is also known as Sahyadri. The Western Ghats are also the first highlands of India that encounters the southwest monsoon winds. That means this region receives a lot of rainfall, due to which you will find tropical evergreen forest. Therefore, it also has an exceptionally high level of biological diversity, and it is also recognized as one of the world's biological hotspots. If you go to the eastern coast, you will find a discontinuous range of mountains called the Eastern Ghats that run through northern Odisha, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. In between Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, these mountains do exist in some of the southeastern parts of Karnataka and northeastern parts of Kerala. Basically this region over here. It is called the Nilgiris, where the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats meet. As we know, most of the rivers in Deccan Plateau drain into the Bay of Bengal. That is why you will find the discontinuity in the mountains of the Eastern Ghats, because the rivers erode and cut the mountains while flowing into the Bay of Bengal. Annaimudi is the highest peak of the Western Ghats, with a height of 2695 meters, and is also the highest point in the entire Peninsular India. It is located at the border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. In the Eastern Ghats, Armakonda is the highest peak with a height of 1680 meters, which is located in the Araku Valley of northern part of Andhra Pradesh. If you notice their locations, you will learn that the height of the Western Ghats progressively increases from north to south, whereas the height of Eastern Ghats increases from south to north. Another important point that you have to understand is that the Deccan Plateau is slightly tilted towards east. In other words, the land elevation of the Western Ghats is a little higher than the Eastern Ghats. Eastern Ghats have gone through a lot of erosional activities, which has created this natural land slope for the rivers to flow into the Bay of Bengal. So these were the important mountains of Peninsular India. These mountains not only form the catchment area for many peninsular rivers in India, but they also play an important role in affecting the climate of nearby lands. I hope this video was informative. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.